back to another fingerstyle tutorial. Today we want to look at the song 10,000 Reasons by Redman. Now, as you've probably seen in the playthrough, it sounds very nice, and it's very, in my opinion, very simple, very easy to play. Of course, only if you have some knowledge or some experience in fingerstyle guitar. So I wouldn't recommend to learn this song if you haven't even touched a guitar before. But if you know the basic chords and you know you've touched a guitar before and you know your way around it a bit, you know how it works, you should be fine. So yeah, it's a nice song with, of course, also deep theological meaning. And yeah, now without further ado, let's get to learn this song. So we're going to start by placing our capo onto the 3rd fret as usual, and the 3rd fret meaning 1, 2, 3, so the 3rd fret. And we're going to play it in standard tuning, meaning this is the low E string, and this is the A string, this is D, G, B, and high E string. So this is the standard tuning, just so you know what I mean when I say B string on the 3rd fret. That would mean the B string, so this one. On the 3rd fret would be this, because it's 1, 2, 3. So yeah, this was already the intro. Let's get into the first segment. So for this song, we will break it down into 4 segments. 2 segments for the chorus, which we're going to learn first, and 2 segments for the verse. And that's already it. So let's start with the first segment. So yeah, this is the first segment, the first part that we're going to learn. So this is obviously, you know, from the melody, this is the first part of Matt Redman's song, 10,000 Reasons, from the chorus. We're starting off with an open string on the B string. So the 2nd from the bottom. This is the first note that we're going to play for this song. And it's followed by a hammer-on. Now what a hammer-on is we're going to use our left hand to create a sound by hitting onto the strings without plucking them with our right hand, so like this. So we're playing the B string open and then hammer on like this. Now if this is too difficult, you can also just play the note itself by plucking down here, meaning like this. But in my opinion, it's easier to do a hammer on. Oh, sorry. Because after this, we're going to transition to a different chord. So moving it quickly is more difficult if we play the notes separately. So I would just recommend doing a hammer on. And after this, we're going to play the C major chord. Now maybe you know what the C major chord is, and this could help you. So we're going to play the A string on the 3rd fret, we're going to play the G string open, and we're going to play the B string on the 1st fret and the high E string open. And we're going to play these 4 strings, meaning the A string, the G string, the B string, and the high E string together. And we're going to pluck them like this, with a small roll. So with the hammer on. And after this, we're going to play the G string open again. And then we're going to play the B string on the 1st fret and the high E string again as well, like this. So we're going to stay in the C major chord shape or chord position. So G string open, B string and high E string. So, sorry. Like this. And then after this, we go to the B string on the 3rd fret, this one. Now, you can play it how you want to. I think it's the most easy to use. It's the easiest to use the pinky finger for this. You can also do it like this. So, like this. And after this, we go to a G major, but it's a bit different than we usually play it when we strum with chords. So we're going to play the low E string on the 3rd fret, together with the G string open and the B string open, and all these three strings together, like this. So, like this. And after this, we're going to fill out the void, fill out the gap, how you ever want to call it, by playing the D string and the G string open, like this. So, just like that. So together with the first things we learned, feel free to stop the video and to just learn the parts that you find difficult or that you haven't really learned yet. So, continuing, we're going to play the G string on the 2nd fret, and we're going to, as the bass note, play the low E string on the 2nd fret as well. And I would recommend using your thumb like this rather than using another finger, because it's easier in my opinion and it saves up the other fingers to do other stuff, you know. So low E string and G string both on the 2nd fret together, like this. And then after this, the B string open. So, and then we go back to the G string on the 2nd fret, lift up and play the G string open, and then, but we'll come to that later. So again, this position, B string open, G string again, G string open. So if you play this in quick succession, like this. And after this, we're going to play basically the E minor. So you can play the E minor, where you can press down the E minor chord shape. So this would be the A string on the 2nd fret, as well as D string on the 2nd fret. And we're going to play the low E string as the bass note, open, obviously, because it's the E minor. And we're going to play the D string on the 2nd fret, like this. It's very deep from the sound. And to fill out the void, we're just going to add some extra notes. So we're going to stay in this E minor position. This is the nice part about this song, is that you can often just stay in the position and just play random stuff here. So after playing the A string and the low E string, we're going to pluck the A string, D string, A string again, like this, while staying in the E minor position. So like this. So let's play from this part. Again. Oh, sorry. Like this. And then after this, we're going to go to the C major chord again, but this time we're just going to play, let me phrase this differently. So we're going to play the A string on the 3rd fret, just like the C major chord, going to play the D string on the 2nd fret, just like the C chord, and the G string open, and we're going to play these 3 strings. So this is basically a C shape, and we're going to play the A string, the D string, and the G string. And we're going to play it like, we're going to play it once together, and then the G string alone. So, and then we're going to play the B string on the 3rd fret like this. Now, if this is again too difficult with the pinky because you never use it or whatever, you can just use another finger. But this is the best version in my opinion, or the best way to play it, because you also let the other notes ring. So, B string on the 3rd fret, and then B string open. So you see the pinky moving. So we're going to play the B string open. Again. And after this, we're going to move on to, we're going to play the low E string on the 3rd fret, played once, followed by the D string open, followed by the G string open. So like this. And then we're going to play the G string on the 2nd fret, immediately followed by the low E string on the 2nd fret. And then we're going to play, so like this. And then we're going to play the D string open, G string again, D string again, and then B string on the 3rd fret. So this was a bit complicated, so again. So we play G string 2nd fret, followed by E string 2nd fret, D string open, G string 2nd fret, D string open again, and B string 3rd fret. And if you play this in quick succession, it should sound like this. Just like this. And yeah, this was already the first segment. Let's get to the next segment. Okay, so this is the second segment, and this is the end of the chorus. So we're starting similar like in the first segment, so we're starting off with the hammer on onto the 3rd fret on the B string, like this. And basically the first part is exactly the same thing, so I don't need to repeat it. So the first part is this. This is the exact same thing like in the first segment, so just repeat this, but instead of playing, we're going to play, and this is what I'm going to teach you now. So after playing this part that we already know, after playing this, we're going to play 3 chords in quick succession, and that is the C, the D, and the E minor, like this. And we're going to play, let's start with the C. So we're playing the A string on the 3rd fret together with the G string open, so not pressing down anything on the G string, and the B string on the 1st fret down here, so like a C. And we're going to pluck 4 strings. So we're going to pluck the A string, the G string, the B string, and the high E string. 4 strings like this. Now there's an alternative way to play that I'm going to teach you when once we're done with this short part here. So C, and then we're going to move to a D major, and if you know what a D major is, it might help you. So we're going to play the E string, the high E string, on the 2nd fret, the B string on the 3rd fret, and the G string on the 2nd fret, like this. And we're going to play it together with the bass note of the D major being the D string. So basically we're playing the bottom 4 strings, and we're going to pluck them together like this. So like this. And then after this we're going to play the E minor. So we learned the E minor already, how we're playing it. So again, that's the A string on the 2nd fret and the D string on the 2nd fret, and all the other strings open. And here we are going to pluck the low E string open, obviously, and then the D string on the 2nd fret, G string open, and the B string open as well. So we're going to play these 4 strings like this. Now you can also play it alternatively. You can play the chords by strumming them, which sounds nice. And if you do a playthrough where you play the chorus more than once, you can do it once like this and the other time by strumming, which brings in a bit of variation and keeps you from playing it repeatedly the same way and it becomes boring and stuff. So if you play the chorus multiple times, for example, in the 2nd playthrough, you could play it like this. So instead of plucking them, you bring a bit of variation into it by strumming the chords. And then, yeah, so that's the alternative way you can play it. Choose as you wish. After playing the E minor, we're going to pluck the D string on the 2nd fret again, and the G string open, like this. So, just like this. And then after this, we're going to play G string open, and then we go to the C position, like this. So the A string on the 3rd fret, D string on the 2nd fret, together with the G string open. So 3 strings. I think we also had this earlier. So once the G string open, and then together with the 2 strings above. And then after this, we press down the G string on the 2nd fret. So, sorry, like this. And then we play the B string open. And then we move to the bass note, so the 2nd fret on the low E string. while still pressing down the G string on the second fret, and we're going to play the low E string on the second fret, the G string on the second fret, and the D string open. So together, like this. So from the first part. Again. Like this. So. And after this, G string open again. And then we play the low E string on the third fret together with the D string open and the G string open. Like this. So. G string open. And then D string open, G string open, and low E string on the third fret. And to end this segment, we're going to play the D string again, open, G string, D string, and then, like basically, it sounds a bit complicated, but it's pretty simple. It's just ringing out the chord basically. So, like I said, we're playing the low E string on the third fret together with the D string open and the G string open. Then D string open again, G string open, D string open again, and low E string. Basically just to let it ring out. So again, like this. So let's play it from here. And yeah, this was already the second segment and the whole chorus, and now we're going to get to the verse. So let's look at the verse. This is the first or the third segment of the song and the first segment of the verse. So this is the first part that we're going to look at. So we're starting off with the D string open. And after this we're going to the C position again like we had earlier. So that is the A string on the third fret. By now you should already know what I mean. So this is the A string on the third fret. This is the D string on the second fret and the G string open. So first we play the D string open, so, and then we go to the C, like this. We're going to play the three strings together again. So, again we start with the D string open, and then we press down the second fret on the D string, and we play these three strings together. So A string, third fret, D string, second fret, G string open. So, this is a bit tricky now, so after this we play the D string on the second fret again, G string open, and D string second fret again. So basically, just like this. So from the start, like this. And then after this we're going to basically play the G chord, so we're going to transition to the low E string on the third fret together with the D string open and the G string open. All three strings together, like this. So from the start, sorry again, like this. And then after playing the G, we're going to play the D string once again. So play the D string open after that. And then we're going to press down the second fret on the D string. Like this. So, sorry. Like this. And then we play the D string open again. So, I know this sounds a bit complicated, just let's go through it slowly. So, the G. Again. And after this, after playing the D string open, we're going to press down the low E string on the second fret. We're going to play now this is a bit of a stretch, as you can see. It's probably the most difficult, I don't know how to call it. It's not that easy to grip this position. So I would prefer, again, the thumb. You can do it if you find this easier. You can also do it with your index finger. So I like to use the thumb. And then we're going to press down the fourth fret on the D string. And we play the D string and the low E string together. Like this. So again, going from the G. Like this. So take your time to practice this because it's not very easy. And after this, we're going to play the G string open. And we're going to a E minor position after playing the G string open. And then we're going to play the low E string open, the D string on the second fret, which we obviously have because it's the E minor, and the G string open. These three strings. So we're going from this position, from this weird stretch position. G string open, and then playing these three strings. And then after this, we're going to play the D string on the second fret once more, and then open. So like this. So together from the G, it should sound like this. Now I know this was pretty fast, so take your time, go back and repeat it as often as you can so you get the rhythm. Let's play once more again slowly what we learned now in the third segment. Like this. So yeah, let's continue. After this, after playing we're going to play the A string on the third fret, this one, and we're going to basically stay in the C position. Now you don't need to press down the B string like we usually do. You can just press down the A string and the D string on the second fret and the A string on the third fret. And we're going to start by plucking the A string on the third fret, and then we play the D string on the second fret together with the G string open. So we're gonna pluck them together like this. So the start is like this. And after this, there's going to be a lot of G string open just so that you're warned. And then after this we played the G string open twice. So the first time we played together with the D string on the second fret. After that we only played a solo alone. Like this. And after this we go to the G position that we had earlier also. So again, the low E string on the third fret, D string open, G string open. All three strings together. And again the G string open twice after that, so like this. So from the start. So from the melody you already know where this is going because probably you know the song 10,000 Reasons. And after this we're going to press down the G string on the second fret. And then we're going to do it again, but this time together with the bass note. So with the thumb again, the low E string on the second fret, together with the D string open, and like I said, the G string on the second fret. Just like this. So from the G, and then second fret on the G, and then all three strings together, low E string second fret, D string open, and G string on the second fret. So and after playing this, we're going to play the B string open twice. Very simple. And immediately after this, we're going to follow up by the bass note of the E minor, which is the open low E string, like this. So, like this. And to fill out the void, we're going to play, so you can just hold the E minor. And then we're going to play the D string on the second fret. So, which we already do because we're holding the E minor. And then the G string open. And the G string on the D string, sorry, on the second fret again. So basically just going. Very simple pattern. So again from this position. And this prepares us for the fourth and last segment, which it just gives us a smooth transition to the next part, because we're playing this last, very simple but effective. So yeah, let's play this part from the from here. So yeah, make sure that you practice this, and then I'll see you at the fourth segment. We're almost done. So welcome to the last segment of the song. We're almost at the end. So starting off with this last segment, we're going to play the C chord. So we're starting again with the C position, meaning the A string on the third fret, the D string on the second fret, the G string open, and the B string on the first fret. And we're going to play three strings. We're going to play the A string, the G string, and the B string. And after this, we're going to play the D string on the second fret, so the one string that we didn't play. So we're going to play like this. And after this we're playing the B string again on the first fret, so like this. And then we move to the G string, the G chord, so that's the low E string on the third fret, and we're going to play it together with the G string open and the B string open. So sorry. And after this we're going to play on the G string the second fret. So immediately after playing the G chord, then G string open again, and then G string closed again. So meaning, what I mean is play it again the second fret. So let's just start from the beginning. So we're going to play the, like I said, the G string on the second fret, G string open, G string on the second fret again, and then we leave the G string on the second fret, we keep it there, and we're going to transition and we go to the second fret on the low E string as our bass note. We already had this position earlier. So from the start, so I hope this was understandable. I tangled up myself a bit. So we can do it once more, a bit slowly, after playing the G. So, and the G string, open, close, and then with the bass note, second fret on the low E string. And after this we're playing the D string open, and after that the B string open. So like this. And after playing the B string open, we're going to transition basically to the E minor. So we're going to play the low E string open, the G string open, and the B string open. All three strings together. So basically we don't even need to press down the E minor chord. And after this we're going to play G string on the second fret and G string open. So E minor, G string second fret, G string open. Again. Now I just like to play the E minor even though you technically don't need to, because it feels weird to not press down anything. And after this we're going to get to the final part of the song. We're starting, actually we do need to press down the E minor, I'm just seeing this right now. So it will make sense from the beginning to press down the E minor so that you have your fingers already on the second fret of the A string and the D string. Because after this, after playing, it's immediately followed by playing the low E string open, playing the D string on the second fret, and playing the G string open. So And after this, we're going to do there's a little change in the chords, so we're going to lift up the D string and we're going to play it open. So we're going to play it like this. So instead of playing it on the second fret. So first we play it on the second fret and then open instead of on the second fret. So like this. Now I'm going to go back a bit so that we know the context of what we're playing. And now it makes sense why we're playing this in this way, because we now have the context. And then continuing, again, we're gonna place the ring finger onto the A string on the third fret. On the A string, and then we're going to also, just like we usually do, just press down the D string on the second fret as well, and the G string open. And we're going to play first, like just in the beginning of this, just like we did earlier in the third segment, I think it was. We're starting off by first playing the bass note, so first playing the A string on the third fret, then playing the D string on the second fret and the G string open together. And after that, again like we did earlier, play the G string open twice, alone without the D string. So like this. And then like earlier, we're going to transition to the G. So low E string, third fret, D string open and G string open. And after this, also play the G string open twice, then G string second fret, let's go through it from the start. Second fret, G string, sorry. And then low E string on the second fret together with the B string open. So the B string is the second from the bottom, right? And then again the G string on the second fret. And we end it with a G. So that's the low E string on the third fret, the D string open and the G string open, all three strings together. Like this. So from the first part. And to make a so that we have a smooth bridge or a smooth transition to the chorus again when we play. We want to have a good transition, so that's what we're going to do now as the final part. When we play, it's very simple, so don't worry. When we play the G at the end, we're going to finish by playing the D string open, G string open, D string open, and G string open again. So basically just very simple, but it just fills out the void, the pause, the break, you know, and we can then transition to the chorus. I can show you this. So basically we're playing. Now that sounds better in my opinion than just playing and then waiting and then starting the chorus. So yeah, this was already the whole song, 10,000 Reasons by Matt Redman. I hope you enjoyed it and keep practicing and yeah, keep playing the guitar and keep praising the Lord. Thanks for watching.